let's move on to the good trade for me yesterday, as I wasn't able to take advantage of that bullish momentum that took over the markets. And it was later on when I was looking at the chart, I was wondering how did I miss that move. Well, 0.0315 structure with about 60 pips when price continued to move to the upside here. So during the live session yesterday, I was expecting that price will come back, do a retest of the neckline area, where we will be looking out for a reversal pattern around this area to send price go to the downside, respecting that bearish trend line one more time. But that was not the case here, as we saw price take us out of the sell position in a loss as price continued to find higher highs at this point in the market. So we had a breakout of the bearish trend line here, which at this point in time is looking more like a bullish signal, as we can see price broke out that bearish trend line that has been holding selling pressure since last week. So that is more or less a signal that price might be going to the upside. Well, we can't conclude that yet at this point, as we can see how the 1.04500 level has been holding selling pressure since last week. And look at what happened here. As soon as price got into the structure during the early hours of today, we started seeing selling pressure from that area. I actually shared this on my TradingView platform, where I said it's likely that we might be selling right below the 1.04500 level as selling pressure continue on our lower time frame. So I took advantage of this right here, and currently price is running with about 45 pips in profit right now. And those who took advantage of the selling pressure here, well, kudos. Now, before we go into the details of what our expectation is going to be like for today, I just caught attention of Steamroller's comments here. All right, thanks for the compliment. All right, I'm so glad you are happy to be here, and thanks for everything. All right, so before we go into the details of what our expectation is going to be like for today, well, I want us to scale back up into the daily time frame. Let's understand what is going on around this area. Remember, we have a channel here between the 1.04500 level and the 1.03150 level, which has been holding price action since last week, though we had the breakdown of the structure this week. And when I saw the breakdown of that structure, I felt selling opportunities will be coming in at this point, but I think we were taken out of that position. We're shaking out of that position here, as that move went to the upside from that level. So let's scale back up to the daily time frame. Let's see what is really happening, and let's use the structure we have on the daily time frame to decipher what's next we want to be doing here. So now, scaling back up into the daily time frame, what do we have here? Now, on the daily time, since the beginning of trend line. Now, zooming forward into what has been happening in the later half of this year, we can see how important the 1.03750 level is. Now, if you look at what has been happening here since the month of May, you can see how the 1.03750 level has been holding selling, has been a major determinant of price action. Look at what happened here in the month of May. We saw how this level was holding buying pressure. Fast forward into the month of June, we saw another buy pressure around this area, but the pressure here wasn't strong. As soon as price got into this resistance of the bearish trend line, we saw selling pressure, which finally led to the breakdown of that structure in the month of July. And since price broke down the 1.03750 level, you can see that price has continued to trade right below that level to emphasize the strength of the sellers at this point. So look at what has happened since the breakdown in the month of July, and look at what happened since the last couple of weeks here. We can see that price is back within the 1.037 consolidation phase, looking like a reversal pattern, breakdown of the neckline area, and we were expecting that price might come back to do a retest of the structure to send price back into the key level here, which also lines up with a bullish trend line that has been holding buying pressure in the last couple of months here, where I'm thinking that we might be having another wave of a bullish momentum from that area. So this is what we have here. Yesterday we had this engulfing candle taking us out of negating that reversal structure that we saw here at the beginning of the week, bringing price right back above the 1.03750 level. So I am of the opinion that there's still a tendency that we could be seeing certain pressure from this area. So what we want to be doing is to have a better understanding of what is going on here, and if we start seeing selling pressure here, well, I will have no choice but to join that decline to the downside, as the current structure here could evolve into a reversal pattern in the form of a double top structure. We could have something like this: breakdown of the neckline, retest of structure, sending price into our golden zone area before the second wave of this bullish momentum might happen. So at this point in time, let's see what is going on here on a lower time frame. Though we had this engulfing candle break above the 1.03750, let's see what is really happening, and let's use the structure we have on the lower time frame to decipher if we have here, as we want to wait for further confirmation to happen before we want to be joining any rally from this level. So I told you I joined this decline from this level, a very strong key. Remember, we had a support area of this channel around this area, and remember that level was broken at the beginning of the week, where we expected that a retest of structure would be sending price crashing to the downside. So I have my take profit target around that area. And how did I come about this take profit target? Well, I brought out my Fibonacci retracement to take into consideration this impulsive move that started a couple of days ago, and we were able to identify somewhere between the 50 and the 78.6% of that previous impulse leg. As the structure is, you can see, we look at how important that level is. You can see it also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line that has been holding selling pressure since the beginning of last week. So that level is a very important structure. So we want to see how price action might relate to that structure if price goes that far, after which we want to be looking out for buying pressure here, probably to join the next second wave of a bullish momentum. So that is one scenario that might likely happen here. Or we could be having price break down that structure like it did at the beginning of the week here. So if we have a breakdown of that structure, then a retest might likely signal another wave of a bearish momentum to the downside from this area. So like I said, on the daily time frame, I'm still of the opinion that a selling pressure could still come in here. So we need to be very mindful of just jumping into any bullish momentum at this point. The only thing I will say here is that if you to buy the Euro USD price, two scenarios here. Price comes back into this level, buying pressure, then we could buy. That is one scenario I want to be looking at. Then the other scenario is an outright breakout of the 1.04500 level. That is, price breaks out of the 1.04500 level, and then probably a retest, then we could join that rally to the upside. But if price does not break above the 1.04500 level, I would not be thinking of buying the Euro USD at this point, considering what we identified on the daily time frame. As you know, we're still within that bearish trend line, that major bearish trend line that has been holding selling pressure in the last 2 years on this pair. So let's see how this is going to play out during the New York session today. So my expectation still remains a bearish momentum right into the 1.03150 level, which also shares a confluence with like 1, 2, 3 parameters here. We have the bullish trend line, we have the bearish trend line here, and let's see how price action relates to that structure. If we are going to be having a reversal pattern here, then we want to be joining on the Euro USD. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in your inquiries in the comment section, and let's see how I can be of help in that regard.